Ooh, it is nice and warm in here. Cold weather, snow, moisture, road salt, and even the increased possibility of a fender bender are just a few things that'll wear out or time out a vehicle eventually. Cold starts put an extra strain on motor components, batteries, starter motor, alternator. Not only are seals and gaskets more prone to leaking in an older car as they become old and brittle, but cold weather only increases these effects, making them more likely to fail in temperatures below freezing. For cold weather climates, you want to be careful your car is in top shape, with proper oil level, viscosity, and safe coolant mixtures too. On a past winter, negative 45-degree night, I was out of town driving a car I had purchased when I noticed the heater fluctuating from hot to cold air and overall performing poorly. With the temperature of the cabin dropping, I began to freeze, only to notice the engine temperature rising, beginning to overheat. The engine temp climbed through the roof as I pulled to the side of the dark gravel road and shut the engine off, still with no heat keeping me warm on this shockingly cold night. I let the engine cool before firing it up to crawl only another 20 yards before it would overheat again. I repeated this until I eventually got home, thankfully with all my toes and fingers and no frostbite. You need a car you can depend on in this cold season. So does this mean you need a brand new vehicle? Well, it's not that simple, because I've seen my fair share of new vehicles act up in the cold weather, and even a battery will be affected by the cold, the same in a new or an old car. Before the cold weather season hits, inspect your car and perform the maintenance and upkeep required. Test your coolant, check your oil, and inspect your tires by yourself or even for a small cost from a trusted mechanic. Remember, be prepared for the weather, temperature conditions outside where you'll be driving, and not just the conditions inside where you'll be going. Because if you're in an accident or find yourself in any winter trouble along the way, you'll be really thankful for that warm jacket and that extra pair of gloves. Being prepared can save you from many uncomfortable and dangerous experiences. When I was younger, I had an old two-wheel drive Ford Ranger, 1991. It was a cold, negative 30-degree night, and I just picked up an old set of steel wheels and studded tires off of Facebook Marketplace. So I practically had a Jeep now, right? Being the smart kid I was, I set out on an adventure in the countryside with nothing but leather boots, overalls, and very minimal cold gear. The fun came to an end when over 30 minutes from home, out of sight from any town, I slid down an embankment into the cattails of a pond neighboring a very large lake. My phone was almost dead, and with my truck planted into the snow, the exhaust from my cherry bomb exhaust began to fill the cabin. After trying to rock myself free with the gas pedal repeatedly, my head felt a little dizzy and unbalanced. I had sent a message to my uncle just before my phone died. I thankfully understood that the fumes might be getting to me and left the cabin of my truck, again with no heat to keep me warm. I stood outside freezing and began the walk back to the road I had came from to try and trudge to the closest house I could find. My steps were heavy as I made my way down this dirt road until headlights in the distance grew closer, and to my luck, it was my uncle in a big warm truck. We spent a lot of time on that freezing night getting my little truck unstuck, and it ended up being a big lesson for me. There's definitely more than one stupid decision I've made turned memories and lessons. It's really important to understand the capabilities of your vehicle and of yourself. Playing in the snow in that Ford Ranger probably would have been a lot of fun in the daylight with some friends in a backup vehicle, but it sure was dumb alone on a cold night. When I purchased an old Jeep Wrangler YJ with a winch, I had a lot of fun returning that favor to many strangers I found stuck in ditches and stuck out at night on snow-covered back roads. Knowing I had been in their shoes, cold and stuck, made it only the more rewarding to help them out. Let me know your stories and the adventures you've had down below, and once again, feel free to subscribe to stick around for more videos. I hope you guys have a great day and a very happy New Year's. I'll see you guys next year.